All right. Anyway. All right. So everybody, welcome back to the Natives in America podcast. This is episode, I want to say 4, and we're doing this with Linus YELLOWHORSE. He's back with us. We always talked about bringing him back on, and here he is. So, me, Sky, and Linus, you're on the line.
It's good to be back at it with you, Linus. Man, likewise with both of you guys, just like way better quality of recording. So it's nice you guys worked out all the bugs and the kinks. So it's like, whoa, this is gonna be. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. There's no guarantees.
There might be still some kinks.
As you guys are talking, I'm adjusting your volume right now. So it's gonna be hella better than it was.
Right. Or it better be. Last time we had we still had a good time last time.
Oh, dude, it was great.
Last time I liked the way it started because it was just like, just laughter. It was like, oh, man, they're already having a good time. We hadn't even started the conversation. Yeah. All right, so what's up? What's good with you guys?
I fell silent for Linus to speak up.
That's for real, because usually it's like, man, I was waiting for Bob to talk, because I'm used to hearing your voice on the podcast first, so it's like, right, Bob's leading this dance.
It's funny that you mentioned that. One of the times I did a podcast in the next room to my mom, and when I was done, she's like, "Wow, did Sky even talk? It sounded like you talked the whole time." Like, don't tell me these things. That messes with my head. Like, I'm always like, all right, I need to hang back and let these guys talk. So I'm gonna try to do that tonight, because both of you guys seem to have some words that you guys got good things to say.
Oh yeah, really?
I don't know.
So.
I don't know. Do you feel that way?
So you got a topic for tonight, or are we just gonna freestyle it?
I was hoping we'd focus on you, man. We didn't really give you the intro you deserved.
Nah, it was great. I appreciated that one. That was just. I like to talk about that now. Shitty people featuring Linus YELLOWHORSE. Cracks me so hard. It's like, man.
Yeah, man. I wrote out the title and all that, and then when I was doing the intro, and I was like, oh, this is shitty people with Linus YELLOWHORSE. I was like, but not in that way.
There's anything who knows anyone about that, it's him. Here he is.
And here we are, a shitty person. Here's Linus.
Yeah. Oh, man. Nah, but, no, I don't know, man. This is like a heck of a roller coaster. It's like, being on here. So it's, right now, it's like I'm so glad I got to talk with you guys, because I'm just literally like, we just, my friend, my lady friend took me to get some stuff, the last of the kind of stuff for the camp type of deal, line 3 type of deal. Yeah, so just got done washing and cleaning a bunch of utensils, and got a bunch of stuff on my bed that I got to put in my bag, as far as like the layers of clothes that I have from back in the day, and then the medicine, like the face masks and all the hand sanitizers, and then all the medicines, like chuggy and tobacco, and some sweetgrass and Palo Santo and cornmeal, just all my medicines for going up there. So it's just like, it's crazy, man. It's like such a surreal time, and I was like, sounds like you're ready though.
Yeah.
Man, I guess with a better idea than the last time, as far as like standing up, even. Yeah, like the way I see it is like it's like round 2, but at the same time it's like almost round 3, because even Massachusetts, we got to helping out to start a pipeline camp over there, which was kind of like really fresh and new to me with the idea. And now it's nice to have a better understanding of how things are supposed to work, and like as far as like
you're going in this with a plan.
Yeah, well, at least a better idea of what to expect and what to do, different ways to help out.
Yeah.
So it's like, man. And it's like interesting how it kind of happened too. I mean, this times, because I mean, ending last year with the big bang was like, you know, like this. Since COVID started in March, we've just been cooking for elders and busting out that like average of 150 to 200 meals a day, like almost 5 days a week, with the exception of like the popular holidays or maybe pretty much that's it. So it's like just cooking like crazy and stuff like that, and then with the just having to deal with whatever we had as far as donations and those, like in the beginning of these stages, it was really like a lot of those that we had to deal with, just people bringing massive amounts of donations, and it's like trying to find all these crazy ways to preserve all this food without making it like, just to make sure that we don't waste it and stuff like that. So this is like, it's been interesting learning all these different things as far as food and different ways to, you know, like to prepare it and keep it from going bad, or like, yeah, you know, that's such a heck of a year. Just like even the pressure of having to cook these large, crazy meals, and then the end of the year with like cooking 600 meals, like for about 600 people, just like, man. And for the most part, it was like by myself, with the exception of like I had my girlfriend help the first day, but then the second day was like I had one other person that came and helped package the meals, and then she came back and helped, and then one of my coworkers came and like helped do dishes like for a few minutes. So just those little bits of help were definitely a big help. But I was like, man, I just that mindset though, like working to the point of where it's like the mentality of like it's always training, it's always preparing, getting ready. You know, like never think of something as like, oh, this is too tough. It's like, no, it's just getting you ready. Just to, whether it be just getting ready to think, like, know what you can do, like know what an individual is more capable of doing or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like pushing the limits.
Exactly. You know, that it's like, well, I've done more than this, so it's like there's no way this is like the toughest thing that it can do. That's part of what most of last year was, as far as with COVID and stuff. Trying to make sure, like, the mindset was just making sure the elders, like all the elders we were feeding were, you know, had food that we try to do our best as far as trying to be as, like, utilizing ingredients and trying to utilize mass ingredients in multiple ways so that it wasn't repetitious type of meals. I'm not trying to vary it up with different things. And then working with the chef from culinary school, it's like dealing with somebody who has like different ideas, and he comes from like a French background, so it's like really like almost like the high-end restaurant type of mentality with cooking, with what he's capable of doing.
You're mentioning the cooking, like why don't you tell us like a little bit about the place where you're cooking, like where you're cooking it up.
We want to know about it.
Well, I'm saying, like, people don't even know what you're talking. Like the building where you're cooking, where you work. Like,
oh yeah,
give us some details so that everybody knows what you're talking about. Like, where are you cooking these meals? Where have you been?
Right.
Where have you been working? Like leading up to this.
Right. I'm under the presumption that everyone's been listening to every episode. Yeah, but.
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
Just a little background.
But yeah, like since I got here, I got to Minneapolis in November of 2018, but I was in Arizona for, like, back at home, living on the res for from May until like September of 2018. I left New Mexico, and then kind of was just staying on the res, and then I was like training martial arts in Tucson, and then got a Muay Thai fight through one of the gyms that I was training, because it was like really convenient as far as the hours of where I could train, as far as trying to take the bus from the res to town and back and everything type of deal. And so, hey, Amadeus. Yeah, very much like 2018. After that is when my friend he ended up moving to Minneapolis, and a friend of mine who I met in Standing Rock, he was like ended up staying in this. He had like a little bell tent type of deal, and he let me crash in when the season got rough, when I had like only a 3-season tent, and it wouldn't really suffice for like the harsh weather, you know, the winds and the intense snow and stuff. So he let me crash at his spot for a while. And he's a Pueblo guy from Jemez and Cochiti in New Mexico.
Okay.
But yeah, it can be pretty much like when I was after Standing Rock and stuff, and went to Massachusetts and did a pipeline camp over there. Tried to start one over there, but the gas line still went through, and just having to deal with different people in a whole other area was definitely a new experience. You know, trying to deal with like like not everyone thinks the same as we do in the Southwest, whether it be like overall perspective when it comes to like how things are done or just their mannerisms, and it's like really cool, like a lot of like new experiences and adjusting to different types of humans, which was really neat and interesting in itself. And but then over there with like in Massachusetts, I ended up going from there to New Jersey to the Split Rock Sweetwater camp with the Lenape Reservation, because before that they had a pipeline going through there, as I think it was called the Pilgrim Pipeline or something. Uh-huh. But it was I think it was like Nipmuc territory, because it used to be Lenape territory, but they didn't have it anymore. So the property that the Lenape were on, it was pretty much like in a gated community with like a really rich people kind of area, big houses and stuff, where you cross a bridge and it's like, yeah, like they have a camera at the other end of the bridge so they can see who comes into their community and stuff like that. So it's really high end. And I guess one of the guys who owned a lot of the properties out there, he had like something happening with him and the people in the gated community, so he ended up deciding that he would give a bit of his land back to the people, which were the Lenape. They were like one of the tribes underneath the umbrella of like the Algonquin on the East Coast. Yeah, like so pretty much you have this reservation. It's like pretty much just an open land plot that has a river in the back. Like on the other end of it, it's like a little like water goes in a nice ring around the island, and it's really beautiful shallow waters. You can do like freshwater, like mussel and clam catching, and it's like it was really cool. But yeah, pretty much, but it was kind of hard because like even like it was what do you call them, the people in the gated community would give them a hard time and always call the cops on them and try and cite them for like and they had ceremonies over there like, oh well, they don't have a right to congregate and this and that, and so like they were looking at hundreds or multiple like tens of thousands of dollars of fines type of deal.
Jesus.
Due to like just cops and their neighbors and stuff like that. So they were battling that in court for a while, and I think they actually came out on top, as far as I know. But I mean, they still have their land, which is nice. So, but yeah, I spent some time with those guys, and then after that, going back to New Mexico, and got to kind of like hang out with the homie that I was in Standing Rock with, the Pueblo homie. So like, yeah, like he ended up getting me a little bit of work in Albuquerque and stuff like that. And then he's like, yeah, said his partner was getting an internship in Minneapolis, possibly. He's like, we're looking between a few places, and Minneapolis, Minnesota was one of them, and he mentioned a couple others that I can't remember. And then he pretty much a few months later, he's like, yeah, we're going to move to Minneapolis. He's like, yeah, if you ever want to come by, you got a place to stay and this and that. And he said he was moving in August, and pretty much that whole summer, I was in 2018. And then the whole summer I was just on the res. And we used to, I think I was hanging out with you, Bob, wasn't I? Yeah.
That was during the fight, or
yeah, that was right.
What was about that time? Yeah, man, me and you kicked it the night of the fight. Me and you kicked it.
yeah. Afterwards and stuff.
I met your people.
Yeah. So all that leading up to that, and then right after that, that's when I was like, I think I was on the res for a week or two, and then I was like, all right, it's time to do something else.
Time to move on. Does it like when you come back, like after all this travel and all this, after all this travel and experience, like, hey boy, when you do all that, you're moving around, like, the entire time I've known you, you've been like full of energy, like real vigorous, and so when you're doing all this stuff, it kind of seemed like it fit you, like when you're moving around and you're going place to place.
Well, it seems like I feel the same way in a way, but at the same time, it's like, that's kind of something that's happened to me lately as of like since this year started, because I ended last year with cooking a really big meal for just helping out this guy Bob who works up the road at this place called Powwow Grounds Coffee. But I asked him if he needed any help, because he prepared a really big meal for like 400 different families, 400 people or something. They did like different meals 400 meals for the community members for Thanksgiving, and it's like he did it like with a small crew or something. So I asked, yeah, you need help or whatever, and so then he put me on the list to help out with the cooking and stuff. So that's kind of how I ended up the year. And he's just like, all right, you get to do the bison and the dessert. So like, all right. So I had like 3 cases of apples that, where my partner helped me go through the the 23rd of December, and then the 24th, there was 220 pounds of bison prime rib that I had to prepare at I think I started at 7:30 in the morning and finished at 1:30 in the afternoon, and so it all got done, but it was just like, I don't know, it was one of those things where just volunteering to help out, and then once it was like, after I started realizing, like, oh man, that's a pretty big responsibility, having to, like, cook for that many people, and the idea, like, what if they don't like it, and this and that, and but then, like, even after that, now that it's like, the year's over, and they have a new year, and then the place where I work, and you're at it, and everyone into all the details of how I got to where I'm at now, but
and now you're up in Minnesota?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm in Minnesota, though. Yeah, I've been cooking here for 2 years, but now it's to the point where the program I'm with, they have a lot of, like, grants and people that are ready to hire and this and that. I don't feel as like I'm being used as much as, like, I feel I can be used here, so it is definitely, like, that feeling of, like you said, like, the energetic kind of having to keep doing things, and that's just how I am as far as a person. And
you're a rolling stone, man.
Well, I don't necessarily know it was that, but it's just the idea of, like, when I feel like I can't be, like, as useful as like, I'm not being used to my full potential or something, it's like, that's when I feel I just gotta stir the, like, I think we talked about it this weekend, like, stir the pot a bit, or like, hey, let's find another something, and
we
that was, like, how it is with this program. But, like, I'm cooking for these elders and stuff, but it's to the point where you have so much help that I'm just like, it's like, okay, I can leave early. I'm working 4 hours, and it's just like, and then I just live to cook for, like, I wake up, I get to the cafe first, I cook the meal for the most part, and
that sounds good,
like, and then everyone comes and they'll usually help pack it up, or they'll help finish up or prepping the meal and stuff like that, and after we get that meal out, we have so much extra hands that all the prep work gets done in the afternoon, evening, so when I get there in the morning, all I gotta do is throw everything in the oven and reheat it, so it's like, alright, it's kind of almost too easy now, you know, you feel like there's so much help, it's too easy, and it just doesn't, I feel like it's just different. I feel like it's like time to move on, and that's when it's interesting, because I had a friend hit me up and was like, hey dude, like, kind of talking about the Line 3 pipeline up north going through one of the reservations up north, and so it's actually a replacement for a pipeline that was built in like the 50s or the 60s, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Like an Enbridge pipeline, but so they pretty much restarted that in the beginning of December, so I guess a new camp started, and my homie from Standing Rock was just like, well, you know, he said as far as work ethic and stuff like that, he said one of the ones he thought of, so for me, that was like, alright, that's just the spirit or the energy of this area, or the creator putting something that's like, hey, we want to feel useful or something, you want to be, like, I feel like, alright, that's my next call, and may as well we'll help that friend out. So,
time to pack it up and move it on.
Yeah, you're feeling that just time to go.
I mean, like, you can, go ahead.
No, I actually, remind me of there's a song, but I'll talk about that later, but, before you were cooking in this kitchen, like, what was your experience, like in the restaurant, or like being in the kitchen, like what other experience did you have, or, because that's a big role that you kind of handled, so like going into that, did you like have anything like making you feel comfortable, like, or was it just all fresh?
So when I was in the res in 2018, during that Muay Thai fight, there were days when I was also working at Mondo's Cafe on like cells, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, I was there. Like my cousin, one of my cousins was the ones that would make a lot of the equipment over there.
What?
So then my other cousin would also do a lot of the prep work, and, you know, like, so they'd be refilling the buckets of water and stoking the fire, chopping wood, and eventually they'd be, like, making the orders, stuff like that. But I was super fresh, and because it was just me, they were just like, all right, you ready to go to work today? I was like, all right, cool. And then, you know, I started off by chopping up potatoes and putting it in the fridge, or, like, doing dishes, or so just basic stuff, and then chopping wood and stuff like that. But that was pretty much the extent of my cafe work. I mean, I did like bar backing, but that's pretty much just collecting glasses and washing them.
Yeah.
But,
well, it sounds like you were prepared for this and didn't even know it. Like,
I know, right? It's crazy. It's like that summer, and then right after that, I go to Minneapolis, and then the day after I get there, I get put in the kitchen. It's like, okay, cool.
Damn, I didn't know it happened that fast.
Oh yeah, dude. So I went to after that fight, I told you I was there for like a week or two. Then I left, and then I ended up going to Northern Arizona-ish, like Camp Verde, to see a friend of mine that I met in Santa Fe that I used to train jiu-jitsu with. He lives out there now, and he invites me to hang out with him and do jewelry at his father's spot because they make silver, and they make silver like bracelets and stuff, and do stone and silver work. And
yeah, I remember that. That'd be
yeah.
You could send a picture of that time, and I'll put it up for you.
All right.
Sorry, that was random.
But yeah, after that, though, I went and saw him for like a week and did some jewelry, and then I went back to Albuquerque for a few days, and I caught a ride share on Craigslist. I think it was right around October, probably like the first week of October, because the day I left Albuquerque, after I met this person I met on Craigslist, the ride share person, it was like a bunch of balloons in Albuquerque, because it was October 5th, or like the first, around October 5th, that week of it or something, they do the balloon fiesta in Albuquerque, so there's just a bunch of hot air balloons and stuff, and that was really cool. It was a neat way to leave Albuquerque, but I went and saw a friend in Cincinnati for a few weeks who I met at Standing Rock 2. So I took a ride trip from Albuquerque to Tennessee, and then from Tennessee I took a Greyhound to Cincinnati and spent a few weeks with a friend, and then from there I ended up coming to Minneapolis. Like I left like the day after Halloween, I think it was, or some of that. And I spent the weekend in Chicago in a hostel, and then got here on the November 5th. And my plan was like, all right, I'm just going to try and do some beadwork and sell it on like online or something and just make some bus fare. And then I planned on going to visit a friend at like Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe because I think he said they had a camp over there on his reservation where they were like doing like stuff for Keystone XL pipeline. But as of recently, that's been scrapped, so that's good. But I don't care because I never really made it there because the day after, my idea was I'm going to sell jewelry and then I'll get a bus ticket and go out there. And then the day after I got here, my homie took me in the kitchen, threw an apron on me, and it's just like I just started working in the kitchen with him. It was just like doing dishes and then prepping. And it was him and this Ojibwe guy. His name is Austin Bartold. He's like a really cool chef guy that was out here. He was running the cafe at the time. So it was literally just them doing the cafe because I guess Ben was, when he moved here, he was just hanging out, like, trying to find something to do, what his purpose, like, what he was going to do, because his partner, had an internship, so he was just like, all right, now what am I going to do? And then, so he was hanging around the Indian Center after I guess he ran into a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours from Standing Rock, and after she saw him, she bought him a meal at the Gatherings Cafe in the Minneapolis American Indian Center. Yeah, I think Benjamin mentioned it in the last episode, but it was pretty much like, the first Indian Center in the United States, and it was established during like the time of the American Indian movement, in like the 70s. Oh,
in the 70s.
Yeah, so I guess that's where its rise to fame was. It's actually really cool, the setup of it, as far as like the location, and right along the corridor is like a bunch of like little native shops, like communities, and I see like native organizations that help their different people. Like there's like embassies and clinics, and there's a cool little coffee shop.
Damn.
It
sounds big. I've only seen a few pictures that you've shown me, and it looks like a big place. Like, I kind of like, from what you've told me, it kind of sounds like this big, like, intersection of all these tribes, and they're all from around there, and they all come in, and I guess, trade or do whatever, like, almost old school, and it's like, the fact that you guys wound up helping the community, too, like, it sounded like an adventure, and at the same time, like, you get that really good, deep feeling in your heart where you're helping people, helping the community, and especially during some messed up times like this. So, like, when you were talking about working out there, I was always like, man, that sounds perfect. Like, perfect for Linus, and perfect for, like, a person who wants to, yeah, it's kind of like me, is the like a jack of all trades. You kind of pick up things here and there, and when you were describing it, it always sounded like the perfect adventure for you.
Yeah.
So, like, I've always been happy for you since you've been out there, man, is that you're doing what you like, you know, you're getting involved, and that seems to always happen. Like, wherever you go, you know, we were joking before about how, like you're doing it, like, everywhere you go, you're causing, you know, you're kicking off these events.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Well, I gotta say, I'm excited that you're doing this. Like, when did you say you were leaving tomorrow? Like, you're taking off?
Yeah.
And Sky, like, I don't know. You've been tracking all this, man. This guy's I guess we never discussed this. Is it okay to even mention where you're going? Like, I was thinking when this comes out, like, it might. I don't know, you know, it might be kind of early. Well, anyway, you're packing up again, right? I guess that's
this time it's a little different. I'm just gonna be 2 hours north of where I'm at right now.
Oh,
but it's
sweet.
It's gonna be just like another pipeline camp, though.
Yeah.
Like kind of direct action camp.
Yeah. No, man.
Yeah, I mean, as far as where I stay, though, I mean, I'm still gonna have I'm going to pretty much pay another month of my apartment, but I honestly, personally don't feel like I feel like I'm kind of, like, my chapter here is done as far as where I work and stuff, because I feel like I'm not as, being utilized to my full potential and stuff like that, so I was like, all right, what's new? So that's what I'm saying, is, like, after this, like, my initial idea was after this elders program, I was going to go back home, go, get some land and start working with the, like, you know, cause, like, I'm in the middle of a playground, you know, in the middle of, like, you know, the base of Kawahia is, like, the base of those mountains that are north of Sill, so it's, like, just my backyard's of hills and a lot of foraging and animals, so I was like, what I've realized, too, in the city is, like, everybody here is just trying to get a piece of, like, what we have, and not necessarily us personally, but just the idea of something to call their own. Like everyone wants their own place, and it's like, man, I already have that, so that's kind of also what drives me to do all the stuff I do. It's like, man, I can always just go home. Yeah, so that's kind of what makes me want to travel further and further.
That's a straight up, like, thing about the res. Like, man, we can always go home.
Yeah.
If all else, I can go home.
Yeah, that's what I feel, and it's crazy too. Learning about a lot of these other natives, of how a lot of them got pushed out of their lands because they used to have such really beautiful lands, and then you get the Miragan that would be like they get a bit greedy, and then they kind of like, all right, you know, we're gonna live here now. So it's like they end up making them leave. So a lot of natives have been relocated and stuff. Sorry, I kind of said it in a very more politely, but I'm sure it's a little bit more aggressive than that. But so that's why a lot of tribes have been relocated due to just. And we've been one of the fortunate ones that we didn't get relocated. We just kind of got boxed in. So we're still on our traditional lands. It's like we still have our land to call our own where we come from. So it's like, man, it's one of the things I learned. So, man,
we're one of the lucky ones,
But even, like, traditionally, like, I think...
There he is.
We lived, like, near farmlands in the summer, and then went to the chill spot in the cool time when they got winter. You know, I think
the two villages.
Actually, we just kind of moved around. So
travelers.
I kind of see you as just exploring a little further, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, like you say, go ahead.
No, so, like, don't ever, like, I always tell that to people, like, so ain't going nowhere, you know, go have your adventures and stuff, because, the world's bigger than the border, you know? Yeah, borders that I put around, so we'll find something to do out there, too.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing with my mom. It's like I talk to her in jail, and I tell her all the stuff I'll do. She's like, good. They're keeping you busy. I'm like, so that's my mindset. It's like, all right, as long as my mom knows I'm keeping busy, then I'm good. But I guess it's also keeping busy in a way that's just helping and being a productive member of society.
That's epic. I don't mean to. I don't mean to, like, throws off, but I have a question for you and Linus, Bob. Well, how do you guys feel about cover bands?
Whoa.
Wow.
What is your opinion on that?
Well, I appreciate. I guess it depends on the cover band. Like, if there's a cover band that sounds exactly like the band that the original, it's like, well, what was the point? I mean,
yeah.
I guess there is some respect if the band is past, and like some people will probably appreciate another like duplicates of their original favorite musicians. Yeah, you get those Beatles covers, the tribute bands and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've actually went to one in Ohio. It was a Beatles cover band.
Whoa, did they have the bowl cuts and everything from the early?
We were towards the back. It was like a park stadium. And, I think they were all dressed up and all that, but like, damn, they were good. And the music, it's the music that matters, and man, I cried at that motherfucker. Like, there was a couple songs they played where just tears flowed out of my eyes. Like, I had moments where I was like, damn, the music, which I guess a cover band celebrates, like, the music was fantastic.
Wow.
And these guys were good. They were good artists. Like, they had to have been a traveling cover band because they all knew their instruments and they played them well. So I don't know what that is. But yeah, so I'm thinking about the cover band, and I'm like, they're either going to be really good or really terrible. And like you said, what's the point? Like, the hope is that they kind of put their own mark on it, their own stamp. Like there's parroting, doing exactly what they do, and then there's covering. You know what I mean? Like, there's covering and then there's parroting. There's a difference between just playing back what they play and then putting your own stank on it. Like,
yeah, I agree. That makes sense. Because your story about the Beatles cover reminded me of when I lived in New Mexico, and me and a couple of jiu-jitsu homies went and saw this band called The Machine, and they were like a Pink Floyd cover band. And they were like,
they're a Pink Floyd?
They played on this, was that?
Pink Floyd?
Yeah, they're a Pink Floyd cover band.
Sweet, okay.
They play at this, I think it was Laguna Pueblo. It was called Sky City Casino. But man, that was amazing, because generally when I went to shows with homies like that, it's like, we would have like either we'd have beers first just to have like feel looser, or maybe smoke a little cannabis or something, but it's like, we ended up forgetting about all that and just going to the show just super like sober, but it was freaking amazing. It was like really badass. Just see like a Pink Floyd cover band. It was like laser light, fog lights. It was like, and it sounded like legit, like Pink Floyd. It was like, this is awesome, man. So,
we used to do that here at the U of A, at the Flandral. You guys ever remember going there? When they do like a Pink Floyd laser night?
Damn, I never got to go there.
The Flandral Center, or I'm probably not pronouncing it right. You guys can find it. It's like the observatorium. Like they're part of the astronomy campus on the U of A, and they used to do laser nights where they do Pink Floyd, and they'd have lasers going, and a little bit of smoke, and like the whole entire ceiling would be covered with like the stars. Like a picture of the galaxy.
Like an observatory or astronomy type of thing?
Yeah, but is that... Did you say a sodomy type of thing? Am I throwing that in there? Okay. Whoa, okay, astronomy. You said astronomy,
astronomy
right?
type thing, yeah.
I was like, whoa, like, all I could think is like somebody... Because I went with school. I went with the school when we did it, so like when you added that, I was like, oh my god, like... People were being touched while they were looking up at the lasers. Okay, sorry. It just got weird, guys. It just got weird. So yeah, what you're describing, like, I gotta say, if you went to this thing, at the very least, you would smoke some cannabis as a kind of salute to the band. Like, I feel like they had a lot of, mix in that type of culture of just. I don't know, tripping.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But, I still had a good time. It was still good.
Course.
Even, the band even altered some words here and there that fit, that kind of, leaning more towards smoking. There was that one song when it's like, are you familiar with the album Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah. The video is what I always remember. Those airplanes, the airplanes flying over the bombers.
Oh, that's actually
that's a different one, isn't it? Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's one of the wall.
It had the wall on it, so I've never been good at remembering album covers or all the lyrics, but I love the music. They've created something.
I think it's called Home or Breathe. It's called Breathe. That we breathe. Oh, nice. But there was a part where he says being home again, and I want to be there when I can. He talks about when I come home hungry and tired, it's good to rest my bones. It's good to warm my bones beside the fire. And then that band, what do you call it? The Machine was like, it's good to smoke my bong beside the fire. So it's just interesting to hear
I like how you said that. My bong by the fire.
Yeah, it's good to smoke my bong beside the fire.
Okay, nice. Linus coming from straight out of Minnesota.
Me, just had to keep it real.
Hell yeah. No, that's what's up, man. Anytime you want to call on and start singing, I think we should have a musical episode from time to time. And speaking to my musicians, the both of you are musicians. It's been a long time since we've jammed. A long time. So Sky, man, that'll be our next. We need to work. You know what? We're pushing for new stuff this year. We should push for that and add some music.
Oh yeah.
Some sessions, because I'm always seeing Linus on YouTube, right? What's your station on there, so people can check you out?
Just LJ Yellowhorse.
LJ Yellowhorse.
LJ Yellowhorse for Linus Jose Yellowhorse. Jose. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. LJ Jose.
Yeah, my grandpa Jose Velasco.
Jose Velasco. We'll do a genealogy episode on that. I'll tell my mom, man. All right. Sky.
What's up?
Where you been, man? What's going on?
I'm listening to the stories, man. It's good stuff. The tales. I actually, the reason why I asked about the cover band was Pearl Jam they actually were suing a cover band to change their name. And what the band did was they added another M.
Oh, damn.
And, I felt biased because I was all like, you better change that name. But usually Pearl Jam, they stick up with the little guys, so it was the cover band was kind of saying oh man, you're trying to do us like this, kind of corporate and threatening with the lawsuit. So they changed it to what's up?
Sorry, go ahead.
They changed it to Pro Legal or something like that, but I was like, man, you guys are making a living off of their songs, and at least you can do is follow their...
All right, but did they get big? Did they, still... if somebody were looking it up on YouTube, did they take some of that, the YouTube dollars or whatever it was? Did they get?
It was good publicity for them.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, did they get big enough to take dollars away, or? Well, I mean, obviously, if Pearl Jam took notice, maybe it was that big.
What it was Pearl Jam was we don't want to get sued by someone saying, hey, we thought we were going to see you guys, but we saw these guys. And, people can sue anybody for anything. So they thought the name was so close to it. Like, it was like, nah, it's kind of a liability.
Yeah, well, I'm sure in courts they had grounds for suing, for sure.
So, but like I said, like I was on Pearl Jam's side from the beginning. So
well, yeah, they're Pearl Jam.
But like the idea of a cover band, like I think it's like playing tribute at the same time. But
okay. So, all right, I wasn't even like I just completely skipped over that. So they're a cover band. They added an M, and they're playing their music. I guess everybody gets touchy when profit starts becoming a factor.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I felt too close to the fire to be.
I think whatever Pearl Jam decides, we should all support Pearl Jam, and I'm not saying it with an extra M. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever they feel, let's back the actual band. In whatever decision they decide to go with, whether it's crazy or not crazy, let's back up the band, you know. Okay.
That's interesting, though. It's like how you said, because there was I guess a situation with. You've heard of that group, Lady Antebellum?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But there's something with like that name already being taken from an old, like I think it's like a soul or a funk or some type of woman like who used to an artist basically from like the. A few decades ago or something, an old school artist, and she basically said that she already used that name back in the day, but she would, I guess, so Lady Antebellum changed her name to Lady A.
Okay.
So,
okay, yeah, I think I've heard something like that. Lady
I didn't hear that.
I heard that on like Trevor Noah or something. I was like, whoa, okay.
Trevor Noah.
But it was just similar to like what you said, like Pearl Jam with 2 M's or something, but.
Yeah,
I guess it's not that bad. You could just ink anything.
If they decided to sue, then there you go.
They gave a lawsuit, like change it or we're gonna sue you.
Do you remember the end of it? Like what came up?
Yeah, they changed it.
I think if Pearl Jam asked me to change my band name, fuck, I don't know. They're Pearl Jam.
I think the band had like merch and stuff, and like they're already well established as that band name. Well, that makes sense. I don't know.
Gee, I would have just picked the name Even Flow, and it's like you got to know it's Pearl Jam.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, well, why would you make it so similar? You're like, they're the same thing. But I wonder if that was the initial idea, like, hey, let's make the band name similar so that people think they might see Pearl Jam, but they're really seeing us. Yeah.
Damn. So that's intention. You know, like, all right, legally that's intention. But, fuck. I don't know, man. I don't know. I saw a Beatles cover band, and I didn't feel any way about it.
Yeah, I think it also comes to mind that keep in mind is that Pearl Jam, are they still active?
Yeah. Well, they were going to tour this year.
Yeah, so but Beatles, these guys are gone. They've been done since like a decade or so after they started recording. So it's like it's different than when people are still alive and performing. Oh yeah, so that's something.
Hey man, as far as I know, Ringo Starr is still out there.
Ringo and Paul. One of those. Depends if you believe the conspiracy or not. But, yeah.
Oh yeah, for real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. that he died like a few decades ago, and that they were trying to put hints in their music since their early albums that he died in a car accident or something.
Dear God, I've never heard that.
Oh man,
another person.
Well, now you know, people. Now you know.
That's actually honestly the only reason why I started listening to the Beatles. I was like, get the heck out of here. And then like after I saw that documentary, I started listening to the music just to be like get an idea of what they were talking about. And it was like before I knew it was like, man, I like the Beatles. That was their intention. Nah.
Wow. I love the Beatles. Man. I mean.
Yeah, no, I love the music.
They grew on me at first. Me too.
Did you guys see that movie yesterday? I think is what it was called.
Oh, I have not. I've been wanting to see it.
I heard about it.
You haven't seen it either? Oh my God! All right, so look, the whole premise is this guy wakes up and realizes that nobody knows who the Beatles are. And it's weird. It's weird how it points that out, like how they do it. You're gonna have to watch the movie, but it's like, all right, this guy wakes up and suddenly, nobody knows a damn thing. Like the Beatles never existed, and he starts trying to like, you don't remember this song? Like, oh, you don't remember this song? And he started trying to recreate it, and it got to the music. Like I said, man, the Beatles I have in common with my mom. So it's kind of like it's family music, and like when I jam it, and some of those songs, man, I'll play it right now. I'll start crying, dude. The older I get, it's worse and worse. Like I'm about to cry right now, dude, and I haven't even sang any lyrics, but some of those songs, man, they play and the tears start to flowing. It's like music, great music.
Yeah, I agree. Just their catalog, as far as their sounds, it's like, when I first heard Rocky Raccoon, I was busting up laughing. I was like, get the F out of here. This is music. It's not about gay, he's living young boy. So I was like, whoa, that's a big difference from like, yesterday. It's like, man. But those guys are amazing. Man, something else.
Something in the way.
Fuck.
Did you have a favorite Beatle? Or was there, do you relate to one? You think there's one?
I didn't want to say his name. Everybody's thinking it.
George Harrison?
Is that your guy? Is that your one?
Is it all John Lennon?
All I can think of is Forrest Gump on Captain Kangaroo with John Lennon.
That was a good one, though, man. I think of Dewey Cox.
Dewey Cox.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, Jack White was great.
I don't even remember that part. The only part I remember is whenever Dewey went into the bathroom and his homie was fucking doing coke. Or drugs. He was doing all the drugs. Like, you don't want none of this, Dewey.
All these things that are like, that's just what I want. That's just what I need.
Like, it makes you feel good all the time. You're always full of energy and you forget about all your problems. He's like, no, that's I think I kind of want to try that. It's like...
I remember the first time, okay, just this once. That's how it starts.
The gateway drug, oh my.
Hey, what do you guys think is the best music movie?
Oh, shit. All right. I think Once, that's something I think me and you share, Sky, is Once. That was a really good one.
Oh, yeah, Once is good.
As far as music goes, I really liked August Rush.
Huh.
I don't know if you guys heard that one.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
You talking about, like, soundtracks?
No, actually, I was actually trying to say, like,
musicals?
Music bios.
Oh.
Like, Richie Valens or...
All right, but by that, do you mean La Bamba? Cause
Selena.
Okay, like,
Selena was a good one,
what you mean. The movies that are about the musicians.
Yeah.
She's got that art.
I gotta say, I would like do you mean like actual musicians or ones that were made like that?
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I was asking.
I was thinking, like...
Just go for it. What is it? Don't...
no, like,
let's
actual
not categorize
musicians. They made a movie on, like, Turner and...
What do you got in mind, Linus?
If it was like a fictional character and it was like a movie bio type, I was thinking Sweet and Lowdown with Sean Penn, and he's like,
Sweet
like it's like a fictional character, but it's like a fictional character that's competing at the time with the person who he feels is the best guitarist alive, who was actually a real guitarist, who was like a gypsy jazz guitarist in the early 1900s from Belgium, and he had like 2 working fingers, and he played like phenomenal jazz. So this guy was like, this one was like this guy who was like, yeah, I'm the best guitarist in the world. Well, actually, there's this gypsy in France, and he's the most beautiful sound I ever heard. And it's like Sean Penn, and he's just like a wreck. So it's like that's like my favorite as far as like when it comes to like if it's like because they even talk about it like it's like they have like people that are like historians like well Emmett Ray he did this he did that and la la la. They just got like so it's just like history of this dude, but it's not even a real guy, but he's like second best to this guy. They always reference the real guy. It's like this guy was the second best to him. He was nearly as good as that guy. It's funny. What do you guys have in mind as far as, because I mean I could pick one that's a real musician, but I want to hear you guys just first.
Oh, you're holding out. All right, I want to hear Skies.
Yeah, mine.
I have talked enough.
Shit, I mean, I think I'm a Bumba, but I think that was just because it was a early movie that got introduced to me, so it's like I grew up with it, but I knew it was based off of a person.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of set the sort of a bar.
Yeah.
Because I see some Kurt Cobain stuff that really didn't didn't really work for me.
Wow.
But I think the Straight Outta Compton one was pretty.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. Just
I like that one.
I've always wondered about all those guys.
Yeah, that was really good, actually. I mean, I learned a lot about those guys just from that. It was like, man, I didn't know all this history about early 90s hip-hop. It was pretty cool. I love how they coached Easy. You know, like when they told him how to say the line, how they made him change his perception of how to read it and stuff. It was really neat. They told him how to say cruising down the street in my 6'4", and just oh no, you gotta say it like this, and then I was like, that was really cool.
You know what movie's good that I think is also is Hustle and Flow. I don't know if that's not based on it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Person, but it's
the song, one of the songs he does is a real song.
Oh, really?
But sang by a different guy. Good. Yeah, no.
I haven't even seen that movie. Oh,
dude,
I just see memes about I had this beat in my head, man. Or something.
There's a scene in that movie where a lady, the dude's doing recordings and he's recording a lady sing a ballad. It was like a religious ballad, and she sings it in the middle of it, and she hits these freaking tones with her voice where the guy in the movie cries, and I cry too, man. It's like, holy shit, that sounds great. If you guys want to check it out, you have to. It's Hustle and Flow and Church Scene or something like that. It's really good.
Church scene, you said?
Church, they're in a church when they're recording it, and it's this lady who was part of the choir, but she comes out and sings lead, and damn, it's good. It's so good. So if any of you out there have not freaking heard it, listen to it. It's good. Hustle. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna check it out for sure. I was thinking about turning on my TV on now, but I'll just wait. Check it out later.
Yeah.
Rob, what about you, man?
What?
What movie you?
Well, Linus hasn't answered, and I think now that you have answered, it is time for Linus to give us one.
Well,
I pass it to Bob. No, I was kidding. I'm really a big fan of the Johnny Cash and the Walk the Line.
Oh, yeah.
Walk the Line. Dude.
I think it's also a connection because growing up, I probably used to listen to a lot of Americana like that, like Johnny Horn and Johnny Cash, and that was for me the music I really liked that he played.
Uh-huh.
But then there was also the other types of country that I liked the really twangy pop country that was just like nails on a chalkboard to me. But that was always like really like it stuck with me, that Americana style, like Johnny. Yeah, that's what they did, Johnny. So when I like saw the trailer of that, then he was singing like the Ring of Fire song. I was like, whoa, that was this guy. And it was like it was always intriguing to me as far as like getting to see that. And
Johnny Cage.
That's a good one.
I just
crazy, but then again, Dewey Cox ultimately is my favorite because it's like it's a fake version of Johnny Cash, who's like a next level.
Have you guys ever seen Spinal Tap?
Oh my God, that's a great one.
I heard it, but never saw it.
It's pretty much like a metal band, but like a parody, similar to Dewey Cox, and it's just funny.
Yeah, the documentary, they're talking about the amplifiers that go to 11.
Oh, yeah.
That part, they have like that, when they play the show, when they all come out of like those cocoons, and then like the bass player or something gets stuck in his cocoon, doesn't open, and then they're all jamming out, and he's like stuck in his box, and can't get out and jam, and then by like the end, he maybe gets out or something, but it's funny.
So is the bass player, man. Sorry to all you bass players out there, but I think these guys know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Even though they don't know, it's like, well, that's the groove and the foundation of the music, the bass. No, I love the bass. I mean, when I play music, I always usually start with the bass line, or at least like my, that's get a good. That's how you get you. I like to use progressions coming from the key and bass. So it's like,
yeah. Hey. My favorite chord in all of music is the G chord, and that sucker's heavy in bass. I dig it. You guys are both musicians, and you're both like, ooh. Whoa, do you guys have a favorite chord?
What's that?
What's your favorite chord in music, like when you play it on a guitar?
Oh, on guitar, I like E7, and then on ukulele, I like just like a F.
Linus?
I usually play in the key of A a lot. Generally, I usually play in the key of A, but nice. I really love the jazz chords. Like I think it's I think it's major ninth or major. Some type of. No, it's like what's it called? It's either a ninth or a seventh, but it's. I know there's major sevens, major nines. I don't know. I like these jazzy chords though, like the really happy sound that are like bling.
Electric.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
And I haven't played electric, so I've been thinking about that lately. The difference between the electric and an acoustic.
Yeah. No, Ernest, electric to me is like being pampered because you don't have to really give it too much because you just turn the volume up to you play soft if that's a preferred style, and all the subtle sounds are picked up when you just like barely tap in this and that. So I prefer electric, but
I'm starting to fall a little bit in love with like I think it's either the full B or a B minor 7.
Oh.
It's all the way underneath, like all the way down on like the last. Well, it includes all the strings when you strum it, but it's like all the fingers are down in like the bottom, let's say 4 strings, and damn, it's good. Like it sounds good with like there's a few like if you guys haven't used it yet, there's an app called the Chordify app.
CHORD, Chordify.
With the Y at the end or FY, Chordify. CHORDIFY. The Chordify app, what it is it's a huge bank of YouTube videos that like you tell it to chordify it, and what happens is it processes the song that you give it, and then it turns it into a chart of guitar chords.
What?
Yes, and what's crazy is like most of the time when you look up a song, everything you look up has already been chordified, but if you find one, if you come up with one that, nobody even thought of, then you press the chordify button, and it turns it into a bank of, it turns it into like The entire song is worked out in chords. And it'll just tell you what it'll tell you what it is and show you a finger hold of how to do it. And holy shit, man! What's cool is like after you've chordified it, it becomes part of the memory bank of the actual app. So the app, as long as somebody chordified it at any point in time from the time they began to now, then it's saved and like it just automatically is already chordified for most of them.
Cool.
But that's like. It made me realize that we share the chords with every single song that's out there. Like you could play a progression of 4 or 5 chords and play 67 songs.
Yeah, like the 4 chord theory, basically.
Yeah, a little bit of this, but you change it just tiny bit, pattern and whatnot, and rhythm, and boom, you got 60 other songs on the same set of chords.
Yeah.
I heard the Flock of Seagulls, I think it was, that did it on a piano. They just played the same freaking chorus but changed it up, and they just changed their voices. I mean, they're a hilarious band, but they did I want to say 50 songs straight, same fucking chord progression. They didn't change it one bit, and they just sang different, and it was like, holy fuck, they got all these songs out of just a few chords. Anyway, back to you in the studios, Sky. Back to you in the studios, Sky.
No, you don't need a lot of chords. I think it was Bob Dylan said 2 chords and the truth. It's
oh, I like that. 2 chords and the truth. Who's that?
Power chords, just 3 power chords, and you got a song.
Boom.
Like some punk rap.
Yeah.
Linus, what about your guitar history?
Yeah. I'd like to hear that.
To me, it's like you picked it up so suddenly, and then I didn't know if you knew before or what, but you've always kind of kept up. Me, it was like you kept up more than me.
And
you like the kind of style that I play?
A lot of things like that. That type of guitars when you were doing the Fields Elysium stuff. And
yeah. Shout out to the Fields of Elysium.
Man, dude, it's when I started, I tell people, it's I've been kind of playing guitar for 20 years, but the first 10 years or 15 years was sporadically or not as consistently. Remember I had a BC Rich and I kind of jammed with you guys here and there, but I was never the one that was fully committed to everything. So so I definitely that guy, but
you were always on adventures and stuff.
No, but when I came to Santa Fe, I ended up meeting a homie that I worked with, and actually, no, it was before that. I just took a guitar class in Santa Fe Community College from this guy, Wayne Wesley Johnson. I took Guitar 1 and Guitar 2 with him, and he was a jazz and flamenco kind of guy, and mambo.
I love flamenco. Mambo.
Yeah, so he kind of, so he had his own little style called Mamenco or something like that, and he was a bad dude, so jamming with him, he taught me some flamenco finger pickings, and then we also learned a lot of jazz chords, and he was really impressive. He would just get down. He'd be sitting there just jamming, and oh yeah, you guys just did it, just dripping. You guys just keep going, yeah, and he taught us a lot. But plus, with all the prior experience, just even dabbling before even taking a class, just it made it easier to pick up with that idea of just knowing the finger positionings and the dexterity of the fingers, but the overall thing that was the thing that hindered my growth initially, that I felt that was a big obstacle to grasp the hang of, was just the notes. The standard tuning was E, A, D, G, B, E, but then just the little subtle things, all the keys and the the whole tones, everything like the E, all those little things, and there's only like 2 flats. There's 2 of them that don't have flats and sharps, which is the E and F, and the B and the C or something like that. But it's like
and then there's all these augmentations of the same chords.
Just learning how to read a guitar neck in general, though. Like when you get to the 5th fret, it's like the open of the next string. All these little subtle details, and all of a sudden you realize how a guitar, like it's like the mapping system of a guitar.
Yeah, no, it's like there's a lot to learn in it, and it's like.
And then from that comes the octaves, learning how to find the same note but a key higher. That was really. So then we practiced like plum 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 plum, just like hitting octaves, like 2 strings, like jumping a string, plum 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 plum, like working the whole neck. So just all these little exercises with the guitar jazz teacher. That was pretty awesome. And
that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, man, there's different ways of practicing, but he pretty much taught me that, and then the little blues progressions, which I play here once in a while, but also the blues scale, so I learned a lot from him in those manners, and also that favorite chord I tried to think of earlier, which was a major 7th. That's the one that's like one of those really clean, jazzy sounds. That's like really one of my favorite sounds.
Major 7th.
And that's major 7th.
Remember when you tapped out
Fields of Elysium? I mean, no, Vehemence.
Vehemence tunes, like. That was just you listening to it, right? So,
yeah, that was smooth.
Yeah, but then when I think about it, it was like, no, it was just my ear interpreting it, and also with like not even an understanding of how to tune a guitar properly. So it was like initially when I tried to learn guitar, it was like I asked my uncle who I thought knew how to play guitar, and he's like, oh, you tune them alphabetically. So it was just like, after learning how to really tune a guitar, I was like, wow, it's not how it works. It's a little more complex than that. But man, I do remember that. It was just, I think about those days sometimes, like, because I think that the songs are some fun stuff. They're good to groove to. There's
like stuff I never did that kind of stuff. I couldn't. Kind of patience or what? But
well, you know, you live in a village in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, well, how are you gonna keep yourself busy? Either act like you're bored or try and.
Like tab out some death metal.
Yeah, remember when I did that Lividity song? That one, it seems like it was really fun. It's like really not even technical. It's just really heavy. So then, like for me, like initially growing up with a lot of heavy music, I was like, okay, it's just nothing too hard. It's just heavy sounding and pretty simple, just like fast picking and chords. But then coming to those bands, like remember Vile initially, there was a song they had called Surgery, and it was like and just like these weird, like these timings that were just like jumping strings and single picking like notes individually. It was like, whoa, that's like it takes a little more focus than just like fast picking and moving string to string to string to string when you get it comes to jumping strings and stuff like that. So all those little subtle nuances that add to the technicality of some metal. Like, man.
Are you still get down with metal like as much as you did, or you try other stuff now, or?
Oh man, dude, in all earnest right now, like, I don't know, it's a little different with me in music, because, I mean, like, if I have, like, just a general feeling of, like, I want to listen to music, but I don't have anything in mind as far as what I want to listen to, I just shuffle all the songs I like on Spotify, and that ranges from however I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll get nostalgic and I'll jam a lot of, like, brutal death metal, or, like, some different metal from, like, when I lived in New Mexico, or just throughout, like, my life or whatever, and just like the songs on Spotify and add them, and then I also have mixtures of stuff growing up in general, so to me, music is like a like an audio, like a picture book, or like a memory type of folder. Like every song is associated with the memories in some way.
Cool.
So that's also like so for me it's that, yeah, you're right though. I mean, I have been getting down on so much different stuff lately. Like now I listen to lately it's been a lot of hip hop, but the hip hop is not just like radio hip hop where it's just you hear about like money and bitches and drugs and I don't know, whatever they sing about now, but it's like trying to find music that's more conscious or like as far as like thought-provoking and singing about like really like I guess Wake Self has been a big one for me. Have you heard of him? Wake Self. Like, wake yourself up.
No, I haven't heard of that.
No, so like my homie Ben over here, like the one who I came to visit, he left in August last year. That's kind of part of the reason why I'm leaving the cafe that I work at, because it's like, all right, I came to help him, and he's gone, and now I'm just surrounded by, I'm surrounded by good people, but it's not like my people. So and I got a call out from one of my people. That's why I'm moving to the pipeline cannabis stuff. But he introduced me to this artist called Wake Self, and he's like, yeah, like I think it was maybe a year and a half or something ago, but he's like, or maybe a year ago-ish, but he's like, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of this guy, and then the guy ended up passing away. Like, he had a new CD he was releasing. I think it was October, November of 2019 or something, but he ended up getting killed in a car crash, getting hit by a drunk driver 2 nights before he got to perform his album that he made for the first time. So he never actually went to perform it live. And his album's called Ready to Live, and it's really thought-provoking music. Yeah, but that was one of the things my homie was like, hey, did you hear that Wake Self died? Or, just actually, I'd never even heard of the guy. And when everyone posted his death, that was the first time I heard from him, because having friends in New Mexico and some friends in the hip-hop scene, it was I heard a lot about him when he passed, but I never heard his music. And then afterwards, I started jamming that album when my homie Ben was like, hey, man, I've been listening to a lot of this. Check it out. It's really got me thinking and this and that. So when I jam it, it's man, this dude just... He in a way, he puts it in throughout his career with his music. He kind of just sheds light on how people just kind of make music for fame. They don't really say what actually matters or what's true. A lot of them just sing about just superficial things or things that we're programmed to think as far as money and material and basically your status in life when it comes to material wealth or money. Yeah, where you stand in life when it comes to does it. So he likes to create work about why do we put down women, and what is really the idea of God? Is it is it really everyone thinks to say it's religion. He's basically has a song where he talks about his perspective of God is just the idea of a conscious being, it could be a woman with kids, a homeless person, this and that. He talks about the idea of God not being a white supremacist. It's all the struggling people in life are just reflections of God. So it's not necessary to think that they're below you, because they're just consciousness projecting itself in its own way in that form. And he talks about loving yourself, and he also made a song that was really heavy with me during the Floyd riots. It was called FTP, where he just sings about the injustices as far as a lot of minorities getting killed by cops and this and that, and then he also sings about his personal struggles, which was really powerful to me. It was just hearing him, the way he sung about his addiction to pills was through the form of a love letter, this thing he was in love with that had a hold over him and this and that. And he talks about his addiction to alcohol. It was just really heavy, as far as his idea of, it's called sober, and it was interesting to hear his perspective on that, and how he talks about how he needs it and this and that, but it's surreal. And then, I don't know, he's just a really heavy musician. That's the one who's been really, if I need music too, if I don't want to just listen to everything, I'll throw on Wake Self, because it always makes me feel good about myself as far as try and just love myself and keep it going. Because he also has that perspective of how the world can seem certain ways, and you just gotta do your best in it, and just really conscious and uplifting type of good-hearted music.
Yeah.
So for me, that was he's been a really big influence on my music lately. And then once in a while, I get those desires for some hard shit. So lately, if I listen to death metal or metal in general, it's usually technical death metal, because it's all right, those are the only guys that can play stuff where it's, for me, it's telling a story where it's not just the same chapter over and over. It's so much progressions, and you have to hear so much different arpeggios and melodies and chord changes. So it's Zenith Passage is one of my favorite tech death bands right now. They hit it hard, but they're also ex-members of the Faceless who also hit it hard. And there's also Arcspire from Canada, and those dudes are they're pretty funny and crazy dudes. Amazing musicians. I remember when I saw them, I was all right, I can finally die. And then they said that again about Rings of Saturn, and now I saw Rings of Saturn, and now it's yeah.
You know what I think about in all this, like all these names you're naming out, like metal, like I think of Death Clock, man.
Yeah, you mean like the Futurama? Yeah, when you put your finger in that clock and it tells you when you're gonna die.
No, it was on Adult Swim. Remember Death Clock? It was like a cartoon version. Metalocalypse, yeah, but the band was Death Clock. All right, it was Metalocalypse, yeah. Have you seen that?
Nah, that was Zoidberg. You remember when he had that clock he made that was called a Death Clock, and you put your finger in it?
I remember Zoidberg, but like the Metalocalypse, Sky called it totally. That's what it was. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you guys, but yeah, I love it.
There was this one time where they had like a head cold. And like they were all sick, like all of them were just kind of sick, and like they're rich and kind of idiots, like they're fucking like hey look, like let's look up how to take care of this, like let's get rid of this head cold, and they just started like I think at one point they put leeches on themselves, like they're bloodletting, like they researched it and found bloodletting, so they covered it. Like I think Murderface had like his entire face just covered in leeches, and they're all sucking his face off. Then they're like, oh, we also read that you should sauna, so like they had leeches on their face. They were in the sauna, and then somebody was bloodletting, so like they had a slice on their arm, and they were like taking blood out. Yeah, it was crazy, but like they were doing it all together. Like there were all these remedies, but like all they were trying to do was get rid of their head cold.
Yeah, I do remember that when he's just like, oh god, this stupid motherfucker head cold. He's just like,
yeah, god damn.
More pizzazz. I like when they say like, yeah, just with more pizzazz.
Enough with the pizzazz. He just needs more pizzazz.
or Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown. And I do cocaine.
Chicka. Yeah. Cocaine. Yeah.
I do cocaine.
Man, did you ever have the DVDs at all?
I had the whole season. I had like season 2.
Yeah, the first one had like those bonus features that were hidden. You could learn how to play the solo to the Coffee House jingle, and it was like Squizcar that taught you.
Oh, God.
Oh, really?
No, he's like, you go down to the one to do project started at 17 spread. He's like, you shit all that.
Fucking Squizcar. Yeah. Just a badass.
That's awesome.
You remember the one where there was
like the CD when they have the bonus sounds, and there's one where they have like a track to where they're trying to play they're trying to record, but like the guitar's out of tune, but it's through the progression of that short, it's like nobody knows how to tune a guitar. They just keep going in and breaking strings, like, let me go in there. And then they just, you just gotta turn it. It's like, oh. And you're like, oh, let me go in there. Oh, I'll do this. And then you get like Murderface. It's like, something's not right. You know, it's just like, they keep breaking guitar strings, and Chris Carr's like, it's out of tunes. You know, yeah, there's such a riot though. Like I said, they're just badasses. They're like, I don't know how I'm just a badass, you know? I don't know how I do it.
Remember the guy, they were talking about the castle and like how bad it is, and like, he's like, you guys literally have a tunnel filled with dead bodies, and they all they're covered in rats and a flesh-eating, skin-eating bacteria. He's like, well, that's metal. He's like, no, that's not metal. He's like, yeah, that's metal.
Well, I guess I didn't know all those things were metal.
Yeah, that's metal.
That was a great episode too. Yeah, but that was a really, I think it was kind of one of those things where those guys kind of like love metal so much. It was great that they brought it to animation and got it on TV. It was like, heck yeah.
Yeah, it was good. The
band put death metal on the map.
The band actually exists, right? Sure. Death Clock exists, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, they have musicians that they play live and stuff with like a backdrop that has the music videos with the songs they're playing and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did
one Corpse Grinder, or wasn't it?
He did guest vocals here and there, but the initial vocals was another guy who I think was also like one of the guitarists. Yeah, so Corpse Grinder was like a guest here and there, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So metal.
Did you ever watch Mr. Pickles?
Yeah, that's fucking metal, man.
That's fucking metal.
That's fucking metal. Like, every now and then after watching that, I'd feel a little dirty, like, ugh.
Raunchy,
I'd feel a little gross afterwards, and I'd be like, damn, that's metal. Like, ugh.
It's like a little bit of like gore grind or like some grind for your crust or something. It's just like kind of gross. And just that intro with the music, Mr. Pickles. It's like, oh shit! How can you change the channel with that one?
I like how hard the dog attacks the mom. Like he's just like all close and all up on her, like. Or that.
And it doesn't help that they make her look like very voluptuous and stuff. So it's like, oh man,
Mr. Pickles.
Well, yeah, that's pretty metal.
That was metal. All right, that was like the next level metal. Like I said, I felt dirty after watching it. Like I like the episode would end, and then I'd just be like,
Yeah, there's a few movies but they're out there, that create that effect or that feeling.
No, but at the same time, it was great. Like, I'll watch it again. Like, I can't wait for the next episode. Anyway, yeah.
Do you guys ever watch any musicals?
What's that?
Musicals.
Yeah. Shit, man. I grew up watching a bunch of that with my mom and my sister.
What? Like what?
My Fair Lady is a big one. I'm impartial to the Fiddler on the Roof. That's really good.
Cool. I didn't even know that was a musical.
No, yeah, they turned it into a musical for sure. I actually went and saw it at the TCC. It's good. And if I were a rich man.
What? The reason why you asked that, Linus?
I was just curious to what types, because I used to have my interest in musicals, but a lot of mine were like the dark ones.
Like what? Like what? What was that?
Oh, sorry, it's
sounded like somebody opened up their power sword or something.
Was it like a high-pitched beep?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, that was a smoke alarm.
Oh. What, you cooking right now?
It was like, hey, what's up? You smoking? Bust out. Yeah, just kidding. But yeah, I was just asking, though, as far as like, because that's a topic that, I'm pretty sure there's ideas of what a musical is, but there's also ideas of, there's also what the unknown about musicals as far as like, whoa.
Okay, like what? Give us some examples, because what I just named were like classics.
What? Say it again?
They were like classics, like the classic musicals that everybody's done, but what you're talking about is stuff that I don't know about, so like, give us some examples.
Well, to me, it's like the ones that are like cult, kind of like cult fashion, like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay, I see where you're getting at.
I mean, like Grease?
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Sure, Sky. Yeah, whatever you want, Sky.
I ain't thinking Grease, but
it's electrifying.
You sound like was it Zack and Miri when they're talking about comics, and he's like, well, like Ziggy? It's like, well, Ziggy, like, well, fuck you, Ziggy's a comic, but that's, I think you said it like that, but,
that was good.
Grease is a musical.
Okay, Sky, good boy. No, that's a good one. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I ain't feeling that.
Well, this is Grace Lightning.
Yeah, but also, like, other dark ones I used to enjoy were, like, Cannibal the Musical?
Cannibal?
Nope.
Cannibal.
I've never seen that one. No.
I have not seen it.
It's made by the South Park guys.
Oh, wow.
Cannibal.
Cannibal the Musical, and it's a history one based on this dude named Alfred Packard, who was leading an expedition of people from like the Northwest or somewhere up north to Colorado for like a gold strike or some type of gold mining thingy, but they end up getting lost and are having to resort to cannibalism. But it's also a musical and
was it the Donner Party?
What's that?
Was it the Donner Party?
No, it was pretty much an expedition in the late 1800s. So it was Alfred Packard. It was kind of during those types of gold, like the gold. The day when they would always do gold mining and stuff.
Yeah, everybody came. Everybody came running.
Yeah. Those days.
So there, just a side note here. I went to San Diego with the family at some point. I think we were taking the kids to Disneyland or something. But we also went to the museum. No. I think it was me. It might have been me and Sarah. And Amadeus wasn't there yet. But we went to the museum, and they had. It was in San Diego at the. It's where the zoo is. The zoo's there, the San Diego Zoo, and then right next to it is this other place. It was like a museum. I think. What the fuck is it called? Balboa Park. It's called Balboa Park, and they had a museum, and they did a thing on cannibalism. There was a display, and we're like, hey, let's go. Oh, it'll be fun. And it fucking creeped me the fuck out. Like, they had all these displays, and it was just examples of all human history where there were events of cannibalism.
Oh, wow.
And one of the hardest ones to go through was the ones where they talked about people being lost at sea.
What?
Yeah.
Like stranded?
Yeah, like there was a code, like a pirate's code, not even just pirates, but of the sea, that if it got that bad, if you guys got stranded that bad, somebody's going down, and there was a whole fucking list of rules to figure out who's going down, who has to die for everybody else to survive. And it left a mark on me, dude. I'm still fucked up. I'm talking about it. I'm kind of like, but it was like a whole display, like throughout human history of cannibalism, and it was dark. It was a dark ass thing to go through. No, you know, I think it was just me and Sarah.
What about Wonka, Willy Wonka?
Oh shit! Okay, all right, yeah.
Are you guys a fan of the old Wonka?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do that. I'm sorry, I said man, because it's like, sorry, I'm just reflecting on all the awesome memories. I do love Willy Wonka.
Yeah, no, Wonka's I'm kind of like, I don't know, it was sort of like relatable in the sense of like looking out, you know, like how poor they were, and they're like dirt poor, and it was just like, damn, like this kid.
No.
This kid could just have it all.
Yeah. Man, I just got done watching some type of things. I went down a rabbit hole as far as things about Willy Wonka, like facts and stuff. So I was like, oh man, that was like, yeah, it's really neat to think about that.
What about Wizard of Oz?
Oh shit, man!
Okay, okay, The Wizard of Oz is a classical, isn't it? Like there's been plays made of it.
I just pulled up 40 best musicals of all time.
Man, is Repo the Genetic Opera on there?
I don't see it, but it's probably on 15. Hairspray.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
I never seen it either, but I thought it was weird when John Travolta did it. What is your guys' opinion on a guy dressing up as a lady? Like Bob said it's the funniest thing ever, but why is it so funny?
Are you talking about Hairspray?
Yeah.
No, that was good.
Yeah, I never saw it, so I have no opinion whatsoever.
I remember the original one with Ricky Lake, and that was a good one.
The what?
Ricky Lake. You guys all remember Ricky Lake, right?
Oh, that one lady, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a fan of Ricky Lake?
Hey now, don't say her name like that.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But the original Hairspray. If we're including the Willy Wonka's factory, then yeah, Ricky Lake. Like, and I would say it was better than the Willy Wonka factory. I'm trying to think of more classic. All right, what about The King and I? Have you seen that one?
Wow, not at all. Oh.
I'm trying to remember the actress.
Oh, it's on here, yeah.
Cause I know. Oh shit, you looking shit up?
Deborah Kerr and Yul Brynner.
Yul Brynner. Is there an older one, or is that the original one?
This is a 1956.
Okay, that's it. Then Yul Brynner. Damn, I didn't know it was him. Okay, yeah, that's like a classic. I would say that still goes on. It still tours in like New York. Is The King and I.
I never heard of it.
No?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
I'm more curious about these underground ones you keep talking about, like stuff I haven't heard of.
Yeah, pretty much. As I said, like I watch a lot of like the darker stuff, or like you said, underground stuff. Like Rocky Horror, or
what about
the Genetic Opera, Cannibal the Musical? Those are my favorites.
What about Labyrinth?
Labyrinth? Oh my God, I didn't consider that a musical, but that is like one of my top favorite like movies of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bowie.
You know why?
David Bowie, baby.
Yes.
No, why?
Forever.
I was thinking, jump, baby, jump. Slap that baby and make him free.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites as far as if you consider that a musical.
You guys gotta check out Flight of the Conchords.
Which one?
What do you mean, like a movie or what?
The show?
They're a band, but they're also they have a sitcom too, but they actually do a tribute to David Bowie.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pretty funny song too. They're like a comedy / folk band, but they're from like Australia.
New Zealand, right?
Yeah,
New Zealand. Yeah, they're from New Zealand. They always get mistaken to being from Australia.
Yeah. You're the one that showed me that back in the day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, dude, for sure. I remember.
Yeah, you and David Bowie song.
What? That's awesome.
Go ahead.
I will have to check that out.
I guess if there's some type of singing, it's a musical.
Well, okay, if we're doing that, like, let's just start naming off some shit, like I could think of ones that I haven't even seen yet. Like I'm pretty sure I haven't seen West Side Story. And I think a lot of people are out there going, all right, well, if you think you haven't seen it, then you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've been told about stuff that I haven't seen, but they're like show tune stuff, like Chicago, or no, not Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's one.
Showgirls, or no, what's it called? Dreamgirls. Yeah.
Dreamgirls.
These are ones that I haven't really heard of. I'm just like, okay, until recently, and then so. Like I was just into like the darker ones because of like horror or the type of aspect in that way. Like not really the happy-go-lucky type of films initially. So.
Mm.
But I have not seen Phantom of the Opera. Just to throw that out there.
I haven't either.
No, I think I might have seen it.
I don't
remember.
I don't think I ever cared to.
Yeah, same here initially. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure there's something to it. Like I haven't seen all of Gone with the Wind. Like the age that I had the opportunity to see it, like I wasn't interested.
Have you seen Hamlet 2?
I think so.
I'm not thinking Hamlet. I'm thinking. I'm thinking Macbeth.
Oh, Macbeth.
That's my shirt.
That's a pretty funny one. I mean, like, that's one of the ones that's kind of comedy, but it's still a little darker in a way. Or
is that a musical?
Yeah, it's like this guy who's making he's writing a story, and it takes place in Tucson, Arizona. But
what? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, that's the setting of the movie. It's not actually Tucson in the film, but they're just like, all right, we're in effing Tucson already. And pretty much, like, it's this guy who's a drama teacher, and he's trying to save drama in this school, and he ends up writing a play, and it's part 2 to Macbeth. But everyone's like, well, how does that work if everyone dies in the first one? And he's like, well, so he had like his time machine or whatever, and he kind of just makes a part 2 of that, and then it ends up becoming like a big old controversy in this community with the high school and stuff, and he starts getting like threats and stuff from people, and it's pretty funny though.
I need to check this out.
Is Footloose a musical?
I haven't seen Footloose. I mean, I've heard of it with Kevin Bacon. Yeah, I've never seen it though.
When you said Footloose, I thought of Dirty Dancing or
okay.
Sweezy?
All right, but is that a musical?
I don't know. They're not singing, but
damn,
dancing.
All right, so obviously there's 2 camps. There's like musical where there's music in a movie. All right, well, what about Disney?
I never thought about Disney.
Like all the fucking Disney films, like, aren't they all musicals?
Pretty much. I guess you're right, huh?
Yeah.
They do have some sort of singing one way or another in the Disney films.
Yeah, no matter what, and they're actually more in tune with what like original musicals. Hey. This guy.
Let it go.
Alright, you need to... Hey.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, those are hard to say because, like, in almost every Disney movie, there's singing to some extent.
I don't know. I can't think of a bomb-ass Disney song right now.
Once you go through the films, they'll come to mind.
No, actually, though, there was... I know there's, like, cliche, because it was Pocahontas, but there was a girl on TikTok, and she was singing the Pocahontas song, but she was singing it so beautifully, it was like, I didn't mind that it was out of this, from this Disney movie. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of corny, man. Like, I don't know, me and Bob in previous episodes have talked about, like, guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
Do you have I mean, not to put you on the spot, but, like, is there something where you're, like, you don't throw it out there right away? That I like. I guess what's your definition of guilty pleasure? I think we didn't define it.
Well, I guess it varies on what the individual doesn't like. What they're trying. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure like a person who was losing weight's guilty pleasure would be like something that would be like they'll probably be like a sugary something like some type of treat in that way. So everyone has the. No, just I think guilty pleasures in general. As far as I mean, some people could be like trying to project themselves as super sober, and then underneath they're like drink or smoke or do some type of drug. So it's like depends on the individual what they project and this and that, and what they perceive as what they don't want the world to know as far as like in a way like that. So that's how I perceive a guilty pleasure. And I don't really have a world or a place that I'm trying to project in the world. So I'm just like, I'm just being me. So you don't talk about what I do. I just do what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that project that to the world as far as what they feel. I don't know. It's peculiar because I don't talk to many people in general. Like as far as like day to day, I just usually for me my interactions are face to face. So it's like I think to me it's like a lot of people project themselves onto social media, and that's where it's like, you know, you just project what you want people to know about you. So most of the time it's for the likes or the shares or like you're trying to connect or something. And I generally, for me, it's like I keep myself busy and entertained. And if anything, my guilty pleasures are like having beers here and there or smoking cannabis. I mean, for me, it's like I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I smoke through. What's up?
It's like, no, but like, you wouldn't play like certain death metal around. You know what I mean? Like in certain places, death metal, or like, you wouldn't hear that playing in the grocery store, like full blast.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I guess in a way, like for me, it's like I've gotten to the point now where it's like I love so much different types of music that for me it's like I have to feel I want to jam that, but it's not necessarily the first sound in my head every morning anymore. Like I haven't listened to any death metal today. That's like basically to like where I'm at in life. It's like, yeah, I haven't listened to any death metal today.
You listen to death
like I started off my day with fucking traditional autumn music. I looked up like autumn traditional songs, and that's how I started my day to day. But
what
and then I ended up going to. Huh?
What did you hear?
I went on YouTube and typed in autumn traditional songs, and then there's an album that came up that was recorded in like 1951.
Okay.
There's just a bunch of different songs from the
Fiddlers.
Like, yeah. What's that?
Was it Fiddlers?
No, it was just autumn singing, just traditional with the shaukuts.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like anything associated with Waida music. It was just traditional autumn music. A lot of them were like I should probably send you the link about that, because it's just there's a CD I saw one time last time I was actually home. It was February of 2020, right before I think it was like right when COVID was about to get big in the States. But I saw that CD at the Sanavir gift shop, and it was like just a CD with all them traditional songs. It was like 20-some jams, and they were recorded like early in like the mid 1900s. So it's definitely a whole other feel, like as far as how many people sang. Like you hear like a whole choir of people singing sometimes. It was like, geez, how often do you come around a whole group of people that know to sing songs? I just think it's just all it off, and so it's definitely powerful. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, anyway, it's like it's hard to just jam metal anymore. But at the same time, it's like I work with a guy I see him as like a reflection of me in a way, like when I first came out of, like when I was fresh in the rave, like you remember how I used to be like just all brutal death metal, super like, God, I just see myself like, man, I would beat the shit out of myself 20 years like, fuck that guy. But it's just like, yeah, I work with someone who was like, every time I would go into work with him, it's like all I hear is just, it's just like slam, where you're just like power chords and people making noises as like the super growly stuff. So it's just like, for me, I guess it just kind of gets a little bland and boring. It's like where I feel like from a musician perspective, it's like I want to hear melodies and different stuff. So that's why, like, if I listen to death metal, it's always just technical, because then I gotta actually follow it and pay attention to it, opposed to just slam. Or like you listen to like someone use their voices and like overpowering all the other instruments. But I don't know. I mean, everything has their place. There are times where I'm cutting, just kind of dancing away, listening to some slam, but it's kind of rare nowadays. Yeah. Like if anything, I'll just throw all my like music on shuffle. So I'll go from like hip hop to like some tech death, to like some, then I get some Waida in there, and then I get some more hip hop or some electronic music or some, I don't know, sometimes there's even like some like mirongas or some Latino music in there, or just different songs that I've been introduced to. It's like since all this hanging out with all these different people. So it's like it's just like an audio memory type of thing. It's like, all right, this takes me back to this time or that time.
I'll put up the Buena Vista Club.
Buena Vista Social Club.
Yeah, Buena Vista Social Club, yeah.
Sorry, I said it so vague. Buena Vista Social Club. Yeah, straight up Cubanismo.
Yeah,
man, there was this time, it's cool living in Minneapolis, and like this place has been like, oh my God, there was a time when I went to like 4 concerts in a week. Nice. Or like 6 concerts out of 8 days. There was times when I was just like, like, man, what can I do tonight? I just scroll through my phone and look. It's like, okay, there's like 3 shows going on, and like 2 of them are within walking distance. Man, there's so many good shows here, like lots of really good death metal bands, because where I live, it's like a lot of the underground stuff that I still listen to, like where I found from all the underground bands I followed throughout the years and stuff, like a lot of them play within a 10-minute walk from where I live. It's really cool. And then, like, there's also I'm really close to downtown, like, maybe like 10-minute bike ride or something. A lot of bands play there. Saw some good, like, some EDM, and then saw some good hip-hop around here, and a lot of really good death metal bands, and, oh my God.
Nice.
Yeah. And there was even a time when I got to see, some of the members of Buena Vista Social Club perform at this jazz club downtown called the Dakota, and that was badass. They were called, like, Nacho Herrera and Havana Social Club. Yeah, that was really cool. Just straight up like Latin jazz. Oh man, that was badass.
Yeah, good stuff.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to hang out with a big city like that for sure. If you like music like that.
When I first heard that band, I was driving to, I think, Gawal, one of the villages out there, and I was listening to that whole CD, and it just put me in a good mood.
That's the self-titled one?
I think so.
It's like a picture of a street alley or something. Yeah, that's a good one, dude. The music's, ooh.
That's a good one.
What else is, do you ever get, like, itch to, like, start metal, or, like, not play metal, play music, I guess?
Wait, what?
To do music. Do you ever get the itch to do music? Like,
yeah, actually, for sure, man. Like, I don't know, the way it is over here, it seems like, oh, man, I just kind of, in a way, I'm helping out on a project right now with one of the libraries. They're doing a little short storytelling with one of the local elders out here. Is an Anishinaabe woman, and she's doing a storytelling on this book that's called, what's it called? Gayegin Gigawabamen? Gayegin Giganawabamen, which means, like, if someone says, like, I'll see you later, it's like, and also, like, it's basically like saying that, like, back to them, like, and I'll also see you later, or something like that. So basically, like, this local elder did a story reading on the book that's called that, and that's, like, based off of, like, a Ojibwe or Anishinaabe, whatever, I don't know, the same thing, but it's a woman's story, like, kind of relating to, like, the stars and stuff, like the woman stars. I think it's Venus or something up here. So that's a lot of the women out here have they get their Indian name, and some of them are named after this star, and in a way that name would represent, like, that's the person that the women go to for, like, if they have a problem and need a woman to talk to, in that kind of manner. But that's kind of like the story of the book called Gayegin Giganawabamen. But that's actually a project that I'm currently kind of helping out on. Like, yeah, they asked, like, if I wanted to do music for it. So, like, the end credits and stuff. I was like, okay, I'm down to do music. And initially I thought I was just going to be, like, playing guitar or something. You know, just like, all right, like, I have 2 songs recorded, just pick one and you can use one of those or something. Or I can see what I can create based off of the feel of the story. But the woman that said the story was, I guess she's like, yeah, I kind of, when I first saw her, she was like, you can play flute for me? I was like, whoa. Okay, I guess I'm doing flutes. I guess that's the creator saying. He's like, all right, you're okay at a guitar, but we're going to throw a flute at you. I'll see what happens. So then it's like, all right. And yeah, like, initially I sent the guitar tracks, and she was like, yeah, those are nice. I like this one, but, yeah, I'd really like some flute. So, pretty much that's the next step. Is like, I sent them a little recording of a little bit of flute playing, but we'll see what they say. And so that's the project I got working on now as far as music.
That's awesome.
How do you think it came out?
Keep all this going, man?
Man, but it's really neat too, because again, like last time I was in the res, like I said, the time before COVID got big in the States, it was just starting. And my cousin just gave me a flute, and it was really cool. Like, I don't know, like, when he gave it to me, it kind of like I chuckled in my head, and like a way I was like, wow, I don't know if he's telling me the truth. That's pretty badass, or if it's just like And he was just like, here, if you want, you can have this flute. Or like, he just gave it to me. He's like, here, take this with you or something. He's just like, he went to like a boarding school in California or something. He was like, yeah, I used to play that flute over there. And whenever I played it, all the women would come around me and play. They listen to me play. You know, just like, and my nickname was Coco Pelli. And I was just like, you know, I was like, you know, like, thank you. But at the same time, I was like, wow, that's pretty. I don't know. That's a heavy story. Like, damn, my cousin's. Wow, he was like the
dark
I don't know, like piper for the women or something. Like, man, this dude, it was. But man, that's just like the story that stuck with me. It's like, man, if he can get women surrounding him while he plays this thing, it's like, all right, at least I can know what this thing is, the powers of this instrument. So, but at least now I get to try and make a little nice melody to end a story for local storytelling, and that would be a fun start. And it's actually been really fun since then because I've been learning different little melodies and ways to play the flute. It's different to play with an instrument that doesn't have as wide of a range of notes as like a guitar or it's like I have 6 holes on the flute, so it's like that's maybe 8 notes, so you get like a whole range of the notes, if that.
Yeah.
Or different, unless you find like variations of ways to press down on the holes to make other notes, like flats or sharps or something. Or there's also a way you can put the fingers on the flute to where it goes up, like it jumps up to like a high pitch frequency or something. So there's different ways of creating different notes, but I'm still figuring it all out. But it's really an interesting challenge. It's even like the way of trying to realizing, okay, like if I want to play consistently to make it sound like a song, there's going to be times I'm going to have to catch my breath, and thinking of how do you catch your breath or get your breath back and not make it too long or make it too loud, so it's kind of transitions smoothly. So it keeps sounding like a song. So it's different, interesting ways. Yeah. Like you're like do. You can't be doing that trying to play a song. So trying to find a way to circulate the breathing with the nose and just control the breath going out more, and just little things. It's been fun though. It's definitely a new challenge.
It's definitely a different way to think of a song, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like a song could just be a little riff.
Exactly. And what's neat about that is like, I don't know, it's like one of the other types of music is like some native hip-hop, like the Superman dude, when he just loops beats, and sometimes he'll be looping his flute, and he'll be beatboxing and looping those, and it's like, man.
Yeah, man. So no one has formally like showed you how to play it yet, or
no?
So you're just kind of learning it on your own?
I had one jam session with this Ojibwe/Dakota homie up here, and he played a one finger. He would generally there's like a way you play where you always keep like a finger pressed down on a certain hole in the flute, so it kind of flows a little better. Like I don't know, like just like it kind of flows like in a way like if you're doing a scale on a guitar, and it's like if you have the difference between like hitting a flat note in the scale opposed to like the proper note in the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I first played, I would play it kind of had like one note was like flat, like sound like you hit a minor note or like a flat, like a flat or a minor note in the scale. And then he played it like he just had like a different finger pressed down the whole time he played, and it just made it sound like really like native, like it kind of flowed like a whole tone scale in a way, like with the native sound with the flute. So it was like that's what I learned with jamming with him. And then since then I haven't really played flute with anyone else, so it's just see what I can come up with that. And then sometimes I think I've even heard like a little bit of flute here and there, like when I ended up looking up, like I'll look at different history videos with different tribes, and some of them have the flute as the background noise, and so it's neat to hear how different people utilize like the pauses and like the silence as part of the sounds in between their notes, and how they play their notes as far as like, so you don't like keep a note constantly. Sometimes it's like create a little ripple of sounds and a little pause, a ripple of sounds. It's like, I don't know, it's beautiful, all these different styles, and definitely varies from the Southwest to other places where they play flute. It's just a neat instrument. Yeah, simple yet effective.
Were you saying this whole time that you had already turned in a copy?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It was like
what did you get? What did you put on there?
What do you mean?
What did you give them as your sample? Like was it did you have 3 songs with the flute, or did you give them like one sampling of sounds? Did you play a song? Like what did you give them as your sample?
So I pretty much initially it was like I said like the credits would be like a minute or something, or so just give us like less than a minute. So they should like give us about a minute of recording or just playing. So I was like okay, and then so pretty much I just kept recording sounds like kind of like I would practice, and then when I'd get something that I felt sounded like consistent enough to where I was happy with it, then I'd start recording, and then I would record at least like a minute and a half, and then I'd play it back and just listen to it and just kind of hear like how if I could hear my breath a lot, and if you hear a little subtle whistling sound underneath the overtone, it's really subtle. Like there's so many different variables when it comes to a flute, because like blowing into a flute, then there's a little wind sound like a underneath the, so it's like sometimes there's 2 sounds, like the sound of your breath going outside of like one of the holes in the flute plus the tone of the flute sound. So it's like, and then sometimes that'll come back on the recording. So it's definitely took practice to realize like, man, recording is like took practice to actually get to a point where it sounded like, where I was like, all right, I'm okay with this one, you know. But generally, I just recorded like 6 or 7 or 8 recordings, and I jammed for a while. Then I'd record like a minute and a half, and then next day I'd do it again, and then kept doing that. Then it got to a point where I was like, okay, let's just try it. Like just sit down and record, and then. Then I sent her, I was like, well, is this okay? And she's like, it's beautiful. And then afterwards, I heard that the project leader was like, she was the one that was in charge of like the credits and stuff. So it was like I literally had a lot more time to send a lot more copies. I just sent her one. So it was like, man, could have kept practicing and made a whole amazing song and just sent it to her. Like, I just take a clip from that.
I just threw this together. Just whip this one.
Yeah, but also with like all this stuff happening too, it was kind of hard to focus on one thing. It's also trying to like, try and do as much as I can. And then also, I initially thought there was a deadline too. But COVID interfered with that. So.
Yeah, you got it in there, brother.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's still more that could be done. I should take good reminder. I'll just put that in the bag right now. Flute's coming with.
There you go. Bring some music with you.
Mm-hmm.
You got like a tiny guitar or something, a pocket guitar?
Oh, dude, I left it in New Mexico. Homie Angelo has it over there. But it's okay. I mean, the flute, that's plenty.
There'll probably be something out there, right? Somebody will probably bring something.
Nah, I mean, if anything, the flute's plenty. It's like it's not Coachella. Steady Rock, somebody said that. It's not Coachella. I was like, yeah. We don't need a lot of acoustic guitars and stuff. So.
Not a Dave Matthews.
Yeah. Unplugged. Man.
Oh, man. So, I always wanted to master the harmonica. I was like, I haven't mastered. I mean, it sounds like I'm clueless with it.
Well, I think the hardest part for me when it came to coming to playing a harmonica, like coming down to trying to pick a harmonica, was what key would you want your harmonica to be in? Would you just get a bunch of different harmonicas in a bunch of different keys? Because I try to pick one that's like, what do you want, C? Do you want E?
Yeah.
It's just...
I met this guy in Ajo and at a bar, and he was like a pro, but like kind of went steady. I don't know how to say that. He was with this lady, and like I guess he was an older cat. Like he just wasn't playing anymore, but like he would hang out at like the karaoke, and he'd have like a I guess it was open mic, and he'd have like a pouch of like 6. I think it was 6 different keyed harmonicas, and they were the really big, like really nice ones. They weren't like, you know, the shit you buy at a fucking, you know, at a weird ass, I guess, shop.
Yeah. Did he soak him in water before he played?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. He played, like, I played something on the guitar and I asked him to play with, and it was cool. He was good. Like you can always tell somebody's really talented when they can just do their own thing and it sounds fantastic and it just goes over because they've been playing so long they can hear it. So like, they always make up for like where I'm no good, you know, like. Yeah, I do know what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. They'll pick up the slack. Cause I like to sing and play, but like I'm not like great at singing or great at playing. I just like doing them both.
Hey. Got me thinking of
I'm full of the rest.
Burgundy, busting out that's a flute, right?
Oh, his jazz flute? Hell yeah. I saw that the other day. Oh yeah. We're gonna find it there now.
Come on, ready.
Alright, let's do this. That's baby making music right there.
Yeah. But you speaking of the harmonica stuff was really cool because, like, even when I was in Santa Fe, my best friend's boyfriend used to play drums for this local. It was like a blues kind of band, like a rock and a blues band, and this guy named Kenny Skywolf. Man,
Kenny Skywolf.
He was really good, right? He played some really good blues, and that guy was like, eventually ended up being like a roadie for them where they help him load in and load out, and he was always like, man, you play guitar, we gotta jam sometime, man, we gotta jam. And I'm always like so self-conscious and like shy about jamming with other people because for me it was like, I didn't know how to really do leads. I didn't know how to find keys whenever people were doing like progressions. So like I had no experience, and I was just so shy and scared. Like, you're a professional, man. I don't want to make a fool of myself. But man, that dude got down. He like Bob said, he had like a bag that was just full of harmonicas, and it was like, hey, who's this guy? And he always like soaked them before the shows because apparently like apparently like they sound better when they're moist or whatever. Yeah, but, oh, wow. Yeah, but that dude got down hard, and he would like have that one wire thingy where you have the harmonica in front of your face, and he'd be playing guitar, then he'd be singing leads, and man, he was bad. He got down.
Tom Petty, man.
No, Kenny Skywolf.
Yeah.
Kenny Skywolf.
That's the thing that Tom Petty uses.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure it has a name, but.
Yeah, that little stand for your face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Kenny was a bad dude, man. He was a bad dude, man. Guess he was like, did you ever, okay, so, did you ever hear the history of, like, the southeastern natives or the history of the blues and the way pertaining to the Native Americans?
No.
Contribution.
I've never heard the two arts come together. No.
Yeah.
I've never heard
man. So there's this documentary that's called Rumble. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
Now that one, I just watched that recently, and that one is really heavy and a whole nother like mind shock and perplexing as far as like when it comes to like the southeastern natives, because a lot of the African Americans that were there that were brought over during the slavery and plantation days, they had one question that was really like light bulb. It was like, well, you know, you have all these Africans that you bring over that they brought over as slaves, and a majority of them were males, and they were definitely not breeding them with the Europeans. So who do you think they bred them with? And I was like, light bulb. You know, like, they were breeding with the natives around this area and stuff like that. And then there was also, like, in the documentary, they talked about how in that day, the transferring of over, like, when the slaves kind of got a little more, like, when they weren't oppressed as much, and but they also had the mixed blood with the Native Americans in those areas that the Native Americans would get to the, like, they would be threatened so much if they found out they were Native American that they had to actually say they were like African or American or black out of fear of their lives being ended and stuff like that. And I guess the originality of blues came from people that were descendants of African Americans bred with Native Americans. Africans bred with Native Americans. And then, like, in that documentary, it's interesting to hear, like, this, there's, like, a really old, like, Southern black woman. She's just hearing, like, it's hard to really remember the name of the dude. The first one that they say was that really created with the blues, but I think it's, like, Charles something, but I can't remember his name, but this woman's, like, what she hears is, like, he puts the sound of, like, the native drum in, like how he plays his strumming or knocking on the guitar when he's strumming his chords, playing blues and stuff like that. So it's just really heavy and like a profound thought to think of as far as another contribution from Native Americans to like music, and where, I don't know, it's just something else. But
no, that's heavy.
Yeah, that's something. Check it out though. It's called Rumble.
Rumble. I'll check it out. Where would I find it?
But there's something, too, that's neat about that. It's like, it's on Amazon Prime. You can check it out, or you got a subscription, or you can buy it on YouTube or something. But pretty much, did you hear that idea of where, the history of distortion, or where that came from?
No.
So I guess there's a theory that somebody punctured holes in their speakers in their amp to give it that like, shot speaker sound, and I guess that was how it was, like, the original distortion or something.
What?
And the guy who did that first, his name was Link Ray, and that was the one who made the power chord popular.
No kidding.
And it was that song called Ramblin'. It was like, dan, 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 just like 3 chords, and I guess, and that's how kind of like the documentary starts. Like this guy comes out and he plays these 3 chords, and everyone's just like, whoa. And he was also Native American, and kind of was like the first guy to play rock. He's pretty much like the father or godfather of rock, or like the sound of distortion in general too.
Okay.
And he was Native American. Whoa! Yeah, so anybody listening out there, check out Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah. Make you proud. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I had to say that, but I just had to. Creator said I had to say that, so there you go.
There you go. All right, fellas. My boy over here, he's getting wild here. I think it's time to call it. You got any words to say, like saying goodbye to the people, like actually, I'm kind of curious. I wanted to ask you earlier, like you have something to say about the year to come? This year, like, what do you expect to happen?
For who? Bob? Sky? Me?
For everyone.
Go ahead, Sky. Start it off, Sky. I want to hear you talk.
For the year? What's going to happen?
Like a little prediction.
I think he's asking if Conor McGregor's going to win tomorrow. No, just kidding.
I hope he wins.
Nah.
He better win.
Predictions for the year.
Prediction.
Or anything, fellas. Like any last words before we call it. I think we've said a whole lot here, and I don't know. Is there, like, when are we gonna get back together and do this again? Like, what? I don't know. Like, anything to say before we call this quits? Like, I gotta get off this thing and tend to my boy. He's getting cranky.
Personally, I'll be busy. I mean, as far as I know, my reality, I'm busy the next 2 weeks, but I kind of see myself as, I'm not sure if I'll go back to the cafe or not. And like I said, my initial plan was to just go back home after this and just kind of help the people out more and get more reacquainted with the land where I'm from. So that's
That sounds like a plan to me.
Thinking, just to bring it back home. It's like there's so much going on. Sounds like home's the place, but for the moment right now, I feel like since I'm in this area at the moment right now in Minneapolis or Minnesota, the Midwest region, where you got pipelines going through the rice fields, the wild rice fields, and that's a whole something else in itself, man. But it's like I feel like, well, I got called out, so I got to help out while I'm here. It's like I'm not in Arizona now. I mean, you guys got a border wall crisis, or
man,
I don't know exactly how bad that is right now. I haven't kept up, but it's like.
If you do decide to come down, man, let me know, and I'll prep some time where we can just hang out. Like, shit, we'll go to the Ville and Sky can come over. Something to spend some time, man.
We still got to go help you build your house and your stuff like that too.
Hey, well, it sounds like we're gonna build yours too, man.
Yes, this is true. We're all gonna go build each other's houses. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, if you're ready for it, man, like I said, you're a Rolling Stone. Hopefully, we can entertain you to the point where you'll stick around, man. But even if you don't, man, like here's looking to that. Like I can't wait. I can't wait to see you again. You know, it's been a while.
Like I said, the more I travel, the more I realize that it's like I have this freedom in a way because I have a place to go. It's not like I'm wandering lost. It's like more of an adventure. So it's like I feel like after learning all this stuff and with traveling, it's like, well, you know, get a hang of how the world works as far as in this continent, and who knows, at least establish home base a bit more. Yeah. That's the next one.
Next step.
Explore, man.
Before I start my food truck and start traveling again.
Oh.
Yeah, and it'll run straight off Shuggy.
You got you hiring?
Well, if people are willing to learn, man, why not?
All right, well, I'll jump on that.
I'll throw my hat on that truck. Well, the three of us can make some magic, man. I'll do eggs.
But honestly, something big's gonna happen this year. I know it. At least I think.
Yeah.
If we're working consistently, something big is gonna happen. It's gonna kind of keep us busy for the next, I don't know how long, but I'm excited to find out what that is. But I know for me, it's something big is gonna happen to where. I don't know, big project or just big goal I want to knock out, but that's my prediction.
That's good. I feel like you can manifest that. I feel that's pretty much what, I don't know, like adjusting to situation, adapting, and keeping what you want to be manifested in mind. I feel that'll. Because, I mean, the way I think about it, last year was probably it was the year of Linus. Like, I got a lot done and stuff as far as improving my reality. So I was like, well, this year it's just a different chapter and build off of what I've where I've been, where last year was, because last year was a heavy year. Yeah, considering what Minneapolis and like it was heavy here. And with that, it's just like my idea is like I've been all these places. Now my idea is like I would like to go home, get land, or like apply for land, and then just get reacquainted with the foods and the veggies out there, and take all these knowledge and skills that I've learned cooking these past 2 years up here, and take it back home. And eventually, it'd be nice to get a food truck and travel in between all the places I've lived and just cook with whatever I can find in the area. Like regional type of recipes based on go see homies and cook out of a food truck and create some, I don't know, kind of focusing on indigenous kind of cleaner type of meals opposed to like processed ingredients and stuff that would be bad or that would promote bad stuff for our bodies. So,
well,
I think it's been a fun adventure.
I think you just lost me there. I might have to start my own food truck now. I was like, damn, I'm going to throw a bunch of disgusting shit on my food. It'll be great.
Man, I love it. I need competition, Bob. I'll send you the recipes. I'm scared to do on my own.
Greasy, the meats will be in everything. I might do one with like some squash that's sliced up and fried, but there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'll eat whatever, man. I'll support you both because you both have a food truck.
That'd be fun.
I'll specialize in bread and eggs. Different types of breads, and I'll be cooking eggs.
I like it. I like it. You can be like Kamad's on the go or something. Or
something.
I like it. Then could we do like some random reality show where we swap trucks and I gotta work with your ingredients and you gotta work with my ingredients.
Oh no! A crossover. I look forward to that.
Deep fryers. I'm down with that. We could do that.
I look forward to it, man. I hope you find what you're looking for out there, and I hope that you stay safe and keep in touch any way you can, man.
Yeah, call us.
I'm here. Let me know what's going on.
Call back in, man. We want to dive deeper into this.
I'll keep as much in contact as I can. I probably won't, post it to the world, but it's like, I keep in touch with the close people.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm still alive. Things are happening here. This happened. That happened. And I would definitely keep in touch because, I know I told Bob that it's like, I wanted to have a talk before I went out there and maybe afterwards. And we'll see what happens, though, because, after that 2 weeks, I could come back to work or I could not. But it depends on the moment and what happens with the permits and if the construction stops. And, at this point, it's like I need to be thrilled in life and put to use in a way that I feel useful and like I can smile again.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's kind of like the universe, getting help from the universe.
Yeah, exactly. And the universe answers the call that it sees somebody's feeling or reaching out for.
Oh, yeah. Man, they always know how to get a hold of us. And, we'll always having good thoughts, good energy your way, man.
Yeah. Bro. Like I said, I told you guys, like I've told you before, it's like, keep doing what you're doing. These podcasts are awesome. It's like, I'll sit down and I'll do some bead work or keep busy, and it's like chilling with you guys, except now I get to talk with you and you can talk back opposed to just talking to,
yeah, exactly.
You're recording.
It's a game changer, man. I enjoy this a lot.
Yeah, so keep doing it. It's like it keeps me closer to home. It's like knowing that
I like that.
I can hear the voice of my people just getting down, and considering you two are really considered exclusionary and smart guys, whatever else, it's like that's what makes it even more enjoyable. It's like you guys are thought provoking. I like it.
Good. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Was there one episode you liked yet?
That stands out? Well, I don't know. I'm on this young love one, and this one's been interesting so far. And oh man, the one where it's like being nice. I don't know. It's hard to say because you guys cover so many topics inside one.
There's more coming.
I love it though. It's just keep doing it. Oh man, I love it. It's like every week's so fun. Like, I love it all. Keep it going.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And I want to hear some more people chatting with y'all too.
Hell yeah. No, we got a couple people in line, man. We got a couple people lined up. I'm glad we made the time to do this, brother. I'm glad, man. I'm really glad that you made it out here.
And
okay, I'm gonna hit that big red button unless you guys got something else to say.
Awesome.
Hey, brah.
All right, here we go. Later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Supper.